Peace. So as we continue, as we proceed, yes, we went over the goal, the goals, and now we get into the goal. And this is part 3 to our Work and Power series. For those who didn't get a chance to see the Work and Power series part 1. Part 1 is awesome. Part 1 we went over, and you can go check out part 1 on Powerful Pioneer TV. Sunday empowerment session is called Power and Work. Part 1 we went over the Power series. We talk about some of the metaphysical science of work, dealing with divine work, divine power. We went over the normal and natural aspect of power. We also went over some biblical science in relation to work and the job and the Job story. And then also we connected the Power series that's out, where we touch on the whole science of the ghost and the passing of the ghost to his son, the Power series, and from the whole science of the raising Canaan, the whole Canaan biblical science, to the whole BMF series where it's 2 brothers, the Cain and Abel science, to going into the Power 4 series. We went deep into that on part 1. We went in depth. Definitely check it out. And then again, we brought it into the whole science of power and work. The 3 aspects, of course, the natural, the neutral, and the commercial aspect of both power and work. And we discussed that in part 1. Part 2, we went into the whole power and work in relation to the Marvel's universe. And we talk about these different universes, from the power universe to the whole now Marvel universe, and breaking down the whole science of timing, and the power of work and purpose. We went into that in our part 2. You can go on Powerful Pioneer TV on YouTube. That video is called the Black Friday Empowerment video, and it's called Power and Work Part 2. Definitely we went into timing and timing and the whole science of purpose. We went into author empowerment, straight A's, these authors who have the power to write these stories becoming authenticated. The authentication give them authority to bring these concepts to the universe, right? So when we talk here about the Marvel universe and seeing what's happening, you gotta pay attention. A lot of these things our youths are seeing, but we're not even paying attention fully. So when we see, we went, and again, I'm just recapping part 2 as we go into part 3, getting to the goal. Because these people get into the goal, and our people is being consumers, entertaining these information and not seeing some of the sciences that's happening right in their face. One of our elders came out, salute to and rest in power, one of the elders in Midnight. He said, real life and movie don't separate no more. Real life and movies don't separate no more. Everything in time and in place. So we went over on the second part 2, about the first Thanos snap and what that means when the whole pandemic happened, the whole snap. That happened around 2019, 2020. And then you had the re-snap that happened around 2020, 2021, where now things was back open. And between that, you had the transition of certain important people, of course. We know family members and representatives who passed, but also those representatives who are star figures like DMX, the Black Panther character, and definitely check out some of the movies he have out, as well. One of them specifically is 21 Bridges. So a lot of people transitioned during that snap, and that unsnap brought everything back into motion. So then, of course, during that time, they dropped that movie, The Eternals, dealing with the celestial beings, right? The whole Spider-Man, we talk about that too, in part 1, having people on the web. And you remember that Spider-Man they dropped, that one that they dropped recently was tapping and breaking to the multiverse, which also during that time they broke into the metaverse, that whole metaverse movement, that whole crypto blockchain movement, all of that was happening during that time when Spider-Man was coming out. You know they're gonna always have a Spider-Man movie. You know, everybody trapped on the web already. They doing business on the web. Everything is website. So Spider-Man, you know, definitely has some symbolic representation in coming out, especially with the whole Doctor Strange concept too, bringing in what they call the multiverse of madness, the quantum realm, which we see that time shifting a lot of things. Again, when you go back to part 2 of the video, we break down all the phases that was going on throughout that shutdown and opening, and now even in the Marvel world, the phases that's taking place now, leading up to that movie that came out, that movie that came out during the summer, the Thor and Love and Thunder. And we was talking about that too, about that whole science of bringing the goddess love to be born. You know, this whole movie was about birthing, you know, outside of everything else, you know, love was born on Earth, you know, and what symbolic representation of the whole love being born on Earth, you know, and even with the whole science of the whole Gore, the God Butcher. Now, again, part 1 video, I went into the whole Job story and how Job in relation to Job and how it's so symbolic. Job was a faithful man, did everything for the divine, for the Most High, everything for, you know, to show his honor, and still got everything taken away from him, and never cursed God. So that whole Job symbolic story, it kind of played out with this whole Gore, the God Butcher. How he was a faithful man with him and his family, and all of a sudden, you know, his family got wiped out, things happened, and he realized that the gods, or the mediator gods, you know, which you see this character Zeus, they out here doing all types of madness. They out here, you know, lazy, not helping people, busy in all types of sexual activities and all. What? It was dropping some high power science in this movie. And how Thor had to go among the gods, and when he realized this man is killing all the gods because they're not being active in helping the people because they're busy in worldly things, he went to infinity. We seen what happened during the time where churches were shut down. People had to tap into their inner self. Some people who lost their mind, who had to tap into their real spiritual power. Again, this movie is very symbolic to that. His family passed. His daughter passed, and all he wanted was his daughter to be alive. So he had 2 options. And this is so symbolic to the other movies that's coming out dealing with, you know, tapping into your mind power, what you think will happen, what you say will happen. That Shazam concept, right? That genie in the bottle concept, that this individual went to infinity, and all he asked for his daughter to be born, and the universe brought love on that plane of existence. So this movie is definitely, check it out, very informative. You know, Love and Thunder, tap into that, and this is all dealing again with what's happening indirectly, directly taking place. You know, if we don't have the eyes to see and ears to hear, you know, all these series just happening too. Like they just had the Loki series, the god of mischief, and how he's tapping into the quantum realm. And we dealing with these quantum concepts. They had the Moon Knight series, dealing with the whole ancient Kemetic science. And we already know, we used to have, salute to our elder, Dr. Ben, and salute to all of our elders, Leonard Jeffries, all of our elders who dropped these Kemetic science. We've been tapped into it. But when things were shut down, this was this has been the highlight for the youths to kind of engage in that concept if we're not educating them on those, knowledge. So you had the whole Moon Knight series. You had the whole Marvel concept, the whole Marvel series, the whole She-Hulk breaking the third wall, how, this reality and TV series, how everybody's playing the reality shows and the podcasts and all this thing that's happening now. And we forgetting what's happening in real time in reality because everybody's tapping into the digital world, breaking into the third wall. And then they drop, which, what a coincidence. Nothing in coincidence in that sense. 11/11/22. We decide to tap into our meditation that same time as well, giving thanks. And the whole Wakanda series movie that recently just dropped. I don't know if anyone got a chance to see it. I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but I'm gonna just say, just knowing what's going on, seeing that right now it's tapping into the earth and water element. Earth and water element. So you got the whole energy of Namor, that whole water element energy, earth and water. We in the Aquarius age. And what's about to drop next? The whole Avatar. Like I said, the first presentation was about gold. Everybody's on gold. Going where? One of the themes we had in a couple years ago, everyone is busy doing something, but what's getting done as a collective? Everyone is busy doing something, but what's getting done as a collective? Everyone on goal. Everyone on goals to fulfill their goals. We give thanks. What's your purpose? We all have purpose in life. And as we fulfill our purpose, we're rewarded for our purpose. How? With the goal? These people are getting to the goal right here. Avatar, the way of the water. And of course, you got this other galaxy concept that's about to drop. And then this whole quantum mania, which, salute to our elder Baba Fitzroy, who's a quantum touch specialist. We give thanks. Who's teaching this science. While they out here taking our people in this quantum world and this other world, our elder who's 86 years young saying, I can show y'all this how to reverse pain using quantum touch, omni health, pathologic. I can show you how to do this, people. So give thanks and salute and honor to our elder. And, it's about getting to that goal, So definitely, this is part 3 to the presentation. We got a part 4 coming out where we're going to go a little more deeper. Definitely check out part 1. We're going to have it, of course, in the description. And part 2, you can check it out on Powerful Pioneers TV. So when you see this, you can get a deeper, esoteric, metaphysical understanding of what I'm saying here. So with that being said, we're going to close out this portion and we're going to go into the 50 practices before we go into our meditation. Ashe.